Jim Land, Carlos Hathcock's commander and mentor, is mentioned in the book when he goes to meet an officer of his. And this is what the officer says. You know, Charlie has a standing reward of $8 a head on any sniper. What you're looking at is several $1,000 for each of you two. If I were you, and I thank God I'm not, I would get in that bunker in the center of the compound and not come out until the Freedom Bird took me back to the world. So, hello everyone, and welcome to my new book review. Today we are checking out Marine Sniper, 93 Confirmed Kills by Charles Henderson. It follows Marine Corps legend, Marine Corps sniper, Vietnam era sniper, Carlos Norman Hathcock II. Gunnery Sargeant Carlos Norman Hathcock II. This book is interesting, and let's go ahead and dive into it. So, what is Marine Sniper? Who is Carlos Hathcock? And why does he have 93 confirmed kills? Well, that's because he's a badass, but that's not the point. Marine Sniper follows Carlos Hathcock's life from his early age up until his shark fishing. Not sadly, but the book does not tell the rest of his life. It just ends on the shark fishing. Carlos Hathcock was a marksman, a very good marksman, able to hit targets at 1,000 yards with a normal rifle. He even went a step further and took a machine gun, the 50 caliber machine gun. If you know about guns, this is a very big gun. He put a scope on it and got some very far away kills. Got the longest kill in history until recently. So, again, who is Carlos Hathcock? Carlos Hathcock would go on to become a Marine sniper, become a Marine. That was his dream ever since he was a child when he saw Sands of Iwo Jima, starring John Wayne. And he would, like I said, rack up 93 confirmed kills, but he would have about 300 probable. Some of his kills would have legendary status, including one of hunting a female sniper named the Apache, who would torture civilians and Marines alike in earshot of the Marine Corps base, so they could basically be up all night just hearing screaming and terrible noises while someone is being flayed alive. Another legendary kill is the kill of Vietnamese sniper who came down from the north to get the bounty on him, and that is the Cobra. The Cobra would be famously shot through the scope and into the eye. If you ever seen Saving Private Ryan, when Jackson counter snipes that German sniper in the bell tower, or if you ever seen Sniper with Tom Berenger, let's just say it's a Hollywood favorite. And then he did 2 stalking missions that are notorious. One for killing a French national who may or may not have been doing something bad in probable Laos, and he also killed a North Vietnamese general within the area that could not be killed any other way but via a sniper, and he was the best one to do it. So, what do I think about this book? let's talk about it. So, what do I think of this book? Now, this is an interesting topic to have with nonfiction writers and historians and the people that don't normally read history, and that is, should there be a narrative in history books? Now, there's some famous ones that tell the stories like they're novels. Hampton Sides, I love his book Ghost Soldiers. That is kind of a narrative about the Rangers' rescue of 300 American POWs during World War II. Good book, by the way. I recommend it. Also, Doug Stanton. If you ever read either of his books, I've read two of them. God, I can't think of the name. The one about the USS Indianapolis and it's sinking. Don't mind the noises there. Digging holes on my street. Digging holes, bricking sidewalks, ruining the walk. Anyways, I guess crazy story or I don't know. That's for another day. That's for another day to rant. But back to our point at hand, narrative. Now the question is, should history books have narratives, or at least some of them? And this book kind of not only is a narrative, it's told like a novel, but the author does take creative liberty to give dialogue specifically to the enemy, which is kind of odd per se, but I'm willing to let that slide, but I know a lot of people aren't, and that's kind of the problem. I do feel in some cases there should be a narrative, historical narrative, and I don't mean a historical fiction. I mean a heavy based history book that also follows a story or is written like a story. Because I feel like that's the barrier between the average reader, the average person, and the history nerd is I just don't like. Example, if I were an average person, I just don't feel like reading. Let's say, for example, this book. Me as a history nerd, I don't mind reading it, but the average person might not feel like reading it. As in this book, which is written like a novel, it has dialogue, has Carlos giving dialogue, has everyone giving dialogue, everyone's a character. And the question is that good? By the way, I don't know if some of the dialogue that the Americans say is, legitimate. Oh man, legitimate. Sometimes it does feel a little like, did he say this or did he say this in an interview with Mr. Henderson? And Henderson has quoted it and just said, you know what, let me make that dialogue in my book. But, yeah, I would say yes, but this book does kind of go a step further, and it does feel like a novel to an extent, historical novel, which is fine. Also, historical novels are also a good way to reach people who don't typically read historical subject matters or don't want to. But now, did I like this book is the question. Let's talk about it. Okay, so did I like this book? It was an interesting book. It's a good Vietnam book. If you ever are interested in learning about the Vietnam War, you should add this onto the list of books to read, along with all the documentaries you want to watch. Let me just go ahead and punch my microphone. But I digress. I liked it. I do like a good narrative. I am a fiction writer after all, so telling a story is entertaining. Seeing how you write your characters is interesting, even if they're real life people. Now, in a sense though, this is described as a non-fiction book. And that said, as our discussion point before, is it really a good thing to have that much narrative in your history books? I say 50-50. You should have narrative and you should also have historical context, and he does both. It's not like he just writes a novel. He does talk about Richard Nixon and the sending of over... let me check my notes real quick. I'll tell you the number. 500,000... Well, 500,000 active soldiers fighting in the Vietnam War. Not sending them, but raising the number to that amount. He talks about that. He talks about the horrors of war, especially about the Apache and about her ways of torturing. He does go in depth on, or not extremely in depth, but kind of grossly in depth on one instance of her torturing a Marine in earshot of the others. But I think I liked this book. I liked it. It was a good read. I learned at least 20-30 things from it. That's a good thing to keep track of when you're reading a nonfiction book. Am I actually learning anything from this, or am I just wasting my time, boring my brains out if it's really that bad? But this wasn't that bad. This was entertaining. So, yeah, I would say I liked it. Now, what were some things I didn't like about it? Let's talk about that. Now, the things I didn't like I said, the dialogue sometimes feels a little bit too fictitious, even with the American dialogue. Now, I could believe I could believe Carlos Hathcock said once or twice that he doesn't enjoy the killing. He enjoys the hunting, and he enjoys putting himself in danger before some kid that's dressed up like a Marine could get himself killed. Switch places with that kid. Really, that's what his mindset is. So, I could believe some of the dialogue. I could believe some of the actions. That said, it sometimes does get a little like, is that how he felt, or is that how that character? Is that what that character would say? Like, is that what the Apache would say? Like, during the torture scene, the author does give her dialogue, and like, we don't know what her... Well, I guess we have her writer's log, but he doesn't really quote it that much. Maybe if he did, like, she seems to have a very anger issue towards men, but we don't really see proof of that. And that's one of the things when it comes to nonfiction. You should have at least one or two sources to prove your point. Or not at least prove your point, but as an example. For example, example. I started writing a nonfiction project a few nights ago, and it's like a college project. You got a college assignment. You gotta make sure you include those quotations, and you gotta make sure you give examples. You can't just say X, Y, and Z and not have the road in between. So, despite the dialogue, and like I said, I'm fine with a narrative when it comes to nonfiction books, specifically history. And to be fair, I'm pretty sure they made it a narrative long before they started writing it down. I'm pretty sure that old guy in the middle of the tribe at the fire pit thousands of years ago, when they were hunter and gatherers, was just like, okay, let me tell you about George. When George fought this giant snake and saved a village, like, George was thinking to himself, how do you know George was thinking to himself? That was like 10 years ago. But that's mark of a storyteller, and that's what historians are, in a way, are storytellers. So, I gave this book 5 stars on Goodreads. I don't know if that's I'm not the best rater, I feel like, but a reviewer, I'd say this is a good book. If you're interested in the military, interested in sniping, you're interested in the Marine Corps, you're interested in the Vietnam War, I'd say check this book out. Sally, the cover is covered with library stuff. Maybe I'll just edit in a picture of it. But behind the scenes coming out to you. But hopefully you enjoy the book if you read it, and please, if you do read it, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what your opinion about it. Did you enjoy it? Did you think the narrative do you think the narrative was hair in my mouth. Yeah. Do you think the narrative was too overbearing? Do you think it was good enough? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. Okay, guys. So hopefully you enjoy that book review. Again, yeah, I enjoyed the book. Now, if you want to support me, there's a few ways to do so. 1 is to subscribe. 2 is to leave a like. 3 is to watch the other videos, even if you don't really care about the subject matter. That's fine if you don't. I can forgive that. Leave likes on those videos too. I did publish. My book just got published yesterday at the time of this video's release. The book is called Black Monday, and it is about zombies. If you enjoy The Walking Dead and you want to read a novel that's like The Walking Dead, check it out. I'll leave a link in this description below. And two final things. I recommend following me on Twitter if you want to keep up with what's going on. If you want to know when there's promos, when you want to know when a paperback is going to be released. I'm intending on doing that in a month or two, so keep in tune for that. Want to know what books I'm finishing? Sometimes there may be dry spells in terms of book reviews. I just can't read that fast sometimes. For example, look at this thing. This is what I'm currently reading, and let me show you an example. Look at all those words. It's going to take me a minute to read. And I'm also reading Uncle Tom's Cabin, and that's definitely a bit of a long read. So if I go to have a dry spell where I don't have if I have one review, that's fine. If I don't have no reviews, that's kind of sad, but what you're going to do, I'm not going to lie and say I read it when I still have like 300 pages left in the book. So, and check out my review of what I've learned on Sunday, and there's something in the works. I'm not going to share it yet, but we'll bring it up on the Twitter. On the Twitter page. Just ignore all the political crap. You vote for who you want to. I don't give a crap. I'm proud for you. You get the vote. I'm happy for you. I'm happy you voted for who you wanted. Sorry for if your person you wanted lost. Shame for you. Unless we voted for the same person, so yay or damn it. But I'm giving my politics to myself, like it used to be. No, I'm kidding. But that's a thought. That's a debate. Anyone wants to debate me, let me know. We'll make it a video. But yeah, and I'll talk to you guys hopefully Sunday. Well, most likely Sunday. I'll hopefully talk to you guys next week with book reviews. We'll see. We'll see if I get these finished or not. And yep, talk to you on Twitter as well. Stay safe. Live your life. Read a book. Don't make me the only reader in this conversation. And hopefully you enjoy life and have a good day. And bye bye.